Good morning. It's October 7th, 2011, and this is the final video of the Hoffman k1919, also known simply as the 19. Yesterday I got finished replacing all of the capacitors in this set, quite a few of them actually. We have our three our three high voltage capacitors up there, and all of our coupling capacitors that we've replaced. In video I have vertical sound, horizontal, and high voltage, and we used a lot of orange drops here and there. Not so many here, more in the vertical sections and more in the sweep section down here. And there's more underneath the set too. So we are now going to power the set on, do the smoke test, and then do some setup adjustments. Oh, I also did clean up the tuner problem, which was just a severe lack of use. The tuner had been sitting, there was lots of oxidation in the contacts and lack of lubricant, which was causing the kind of gritty, squeaky feel. So I took the tuner apart, cleaned all the contacts by hand using a hard rubber eraser, and then treated the contacts with some deoxit D5 and lubed up the tuner drum. So it's ready to go. Let's turn it on, turn on our variac, and let's see what it'll do. Bring it up nice and slow here. Watch the meter on the variac for current draw. And we're starting to see some filament action here. We should hear sound pretty soon. Now you can see we have a full screen raster. Before we had that horrible full over problem. And let's see here if I can find handy wrench. Come up here to the tuner. Okay, so there's our DVD thing. See if we can slow down the roll a bit. Okay, it doesn't want to stop rolling. Let's see if we can turn down the vertical size adjustment here. That thing is touchy. Turn up the brightness so I can see what I'm doing. This thing sure does love to roll. The linearity control seems to have more influence on the picture than the height does. See if I can get a better shot here while I'm doing this so you guys can see it. That's adjusting the size. That's adjusting the linearity. We got the famous inner carrier buzz. Okay, so that quiets that down a little bit. So there's our DVD screen. I'm going to grab my cool little test disc, assuming I can find it here buried in the mess of things. Let's see, where did I put it? I was using it fairly recently. Here it is. Yes, the workbench is a mess. I haven't been using this area other than just to place things I've been currently working on. If you don't have an NTSC generator, which I don't at the moment, the Digital Videos Essentials disc is a very good thing to have. I'll have to get me like a nice B&K or a liter NTSC generator. It's still morning. I got a lot of mucus in my throat, so pardon me if I start sounding like the Bandersnatch or something. Wait for it to load. Okay, so let's start at chapter 12. Terrible video response. Look at that. Smeary, smeary, smeary. Let's see if our fine-tuning fixes that at all. Yes, it does. Get a little bit of inner carrier buzz there, but that's a big difference. Alright, let's move on. Let's get to something usable. We're going to have to tweak out the sound detector there. It just sucks. Just plain old NTSC pattern, but we don't have color, so it really doesn't matter. I'm just looking for a geometry pattern. Because I noticed the geometry was a little bit crummy. There we go. That's much better. Now on this Hoffman, there are quite a few surface adjustments. And what's really amazing is if we look on the back here, I don't know if you can see it. Probably can't see it, but this middle control is the horizontal drive control. You usually don't see a drive control on sets this new. That's something that you'd see in like early 50s sets, late 40s sets, but not late 50s sets. And that has a pronounced effect on the linearity. Let's see here. That's I'm going to do some centering tips there. You can see that affects the width and the linearity and the high voltage even. So we're just going to set it at about midpoint. That seems to be the best result there. Get rid of that fold over. So we got about 10% overscan. But don't fret. There is a width adjustment on this set too. You have 4 position switch, which determines what the width is. That's minimum width there. Now we're down to about 5% overscan. This is a letterbox format, so we are going to see the bars at the top and bottom. I think I have another pattern that's just a standard 4x3 pattern. Let's see if we can find that. Let's see here. Picture resolution. Now that we've fine-tuned it, it really isn't that bad. It's fairly clear. Pretty good video response now that we tweaked it out a bit. The thing I don't like about this disc is they don't have a very good chapter menu, and it interacts differently depending on the DVD player you have. So some DVD players will treat it differently than others. My little cheapy Magnavox here from Walmart seems to actually work the best with this disc, which is pretty much the only reason why I have it. Got a little herringbone pattern there. Okay, there's the 1.3. Let's go back here. Pretty good geometry, actually. You can see we've got a little bit of pincushion distortion and a little bit of non-linearity from the left to right. You can see the left squares are a little stretched more than the right. It's actually not looking too bad. Let's see if adjusting our drive control has an effect on that linearity. That's pretty much just kind of like that, isn't it? Okay, well, that's just how it is then. That fine-tuning sure is touchy. Let's see if we can get a better pattern. It's a little stretch there. A little stretched at the top. Let's see if we can change the vertical linearity to correct that. That's a little better. This vertical this vertical height potentiometer is really dirty. It's still kind of eggy looking. I have to tweak with that a little bit. I wonder if we can grab one of the centering magnets back here and push this down a little bit. It looks like we can. Actually, we wanted to go up because the correction needed to be done on the bottom primarily. This thing keeps wanting to cycle. Go back, I wasn't done with that. Pause. Let's see. Let's move it up a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. Now we can focus on fixing the geometry problem. That's much better looking. That's much better looking. I like that a lot. That looks pretty good. Let's see, advance to the next thing. We got a frame back here. Let's pause this. Let's see, center up our frame. There we go. Just got to play with the centering magnets a bit so we can get it fully in frame. All these different patterns and stuff. Let's see. Still got that pincushion distortion. I don't see any magnets on this thing that have a effect on pincushion. Well, I mean, I see you've got them built into the yoke there. And you've got, that's just a sticker. I don't see any other pincushion magnets that affect it. I've tried sliding the yoke on this thing. That doesn't seem to affect it at all. Okay, let's go back to our scan picture. so we can check our geometry and overscan again. Don't really need color stuff. I haven't checked the DC restoration capability yet. Given the fact that it's a primitive set from the 50s, I don't think it's going to have much. A good way to test for horizontal sync is to quickly go off channel for a bit and come back and see we don't get any line tear. It just pops right back in. That's very good. This is a pretty nice set, actually. The main effect you see of the drive is the middle of the screen, where you kind of get that little bit of fold over there, that bar. You want to adjust it so that just goes away. And then you're pretty good. And the picture's tilted ever so slightly. Let's see if we can do that. The way you adjust the tilt on an older set like this is by rotating the yoke ever so slightly. And we see that kind of makes a marginal difference. Just pay attention to how you're rotating it. So that you don't electrocute yourself while you're holding the camera. That pincushion distortion is pretty nasty. Look up here, we've got that nice slope down here too. I don't think there's any real easy way to take those magnets out. Let's see. There they are, they're pressed into the yoke there. I'm not going to be able to get those out. It's too bad. That's the only real drawback. Though I suppose unless you're playing video games or something, you probably won't notice it that much. So let's advance. I think it was 19. No, that's more geometry. Do. What was it, 22? No, apparently not. Here we go. Let's play the little video thing. See if messing with the AGC will cure that buzz at all. It's pretty ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, I may have to tweak that sound a bit. It's not uncommon for older sets to have problems with inter-carrier buzz. The sound is clear though, which tells me that the detector probably isn't screwed up. I don't know, I can mess with it, but somehow I don't think it will get too much better. Let's see if we can get through something. little diner scene. This is good for color reproduction because you can actually get a feel for what all the food is really supposed to look like. Can't do that here, obviously. I'll turn off the lights so we can get rid of some of this reflection. That's really a pretty decent picture. That's on par with that Motorola set that I posted a while back. The only drawback is the sound, but when I watch TV I usually listen to it through my hi-fi anyway, so that doesn't matter too much. Let's see, there's something else here. Obviously you don't have to worry about color stuff. So there we go. There's the Hoffman k1919. Now, let's see. Oh, we got another problem here. Got a little bit of a neck shadow. Gosh, you know, I thought I was done. But we need to move the yoke up on the neck a bit. Let's see, I would like some 133 patterns. It's probably just easier to do it this way. So we grab hold of the yoke, we move it forward. You may have to take the clamp off momentarily, or at least loosen it. You know, I needed two hands to do this, so I'm going to put the camera down momentarily while I tweak with the yoke a bit. Okay, that gets rid of the shadow. No more yoke shadow, that's good. The position, the lateral position on the neck of the yoke determines the field of coverage on the screen. If the yoke's too far back, you'll get shadows in the corners. Of course, now I got a nice tilty picture. Kind of hard for you guys to see that. Let's go to a different frame. Nice white bar. Still got that pincushion problem. That may actually be a yoke defect. Still looking a little bit crooked. Just a little bit. Well, that's better. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the result. I think it looks good. Maybe eventually, if I decide to keep it, I'll strip this and repaint everything and detail it, make it look really nice. It's an incredibly well-built chassis. I mean, everything's point-to-point wiring. Perhaps not as neat as the Zeniths look, but it really is quite good. And everything's laid out, easy to get to. There's all your IF coils. And then down here is your video section here. There's more tubes under there. Big old power transformer. That's a plus for a portable. Got your sweeping high voltage cage. There's a big flyback in there. 60 Q6 horizontal, 6AU4 damper. Cool little set. So there you go, all nice and fixed up. And you got to watch in real time what the setup adjustments are like on an average set. Granted, this video would probably be way longer if I had to do color setup. Maybe I'll do that sometime in the future. But I have more projects coming up in the works. most notably is this zenith down here. Let's shed some light on the zenith. Again. And get the giant vacuum cleaner out of the way. But that's what's next. You see it's got the horrible cataract from hell. But the CRT is strong, so it's worth messing with. This was our original owner purchase from a person in Vista. It's got the light up channel window. The cabinet and the controls look very nice. The hideaway control door, none of the knobs are missing. So that will be the next major TV project. I'm not looking forward to getting the cataract off, but got to do it sometime. And there's more stuff too I may work on in the meantime, but right now the Hoffman's fixed. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the little progression of dead to alive, and stay tuned for more videos to come. Have a great day.